Have you ever felt like you were dropped into this life without instructions? Like you woke up in a body you didn't exactly order, in a family you wouldn't have picked from a catalogue, surrounded by challenges you swear you didn't sign up for, and deep inside, there's this faint whisper that something is missing, something you're supposed to remember. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You are supposed to remember, but before you were born, you agreed to forget it all. The irony of existence is that you chose this exact life. The parents, the heartbreaks, the career twists, even the moments that made you question everything. And then you walked through the veil of birth, slammed the door on your own memory and said, "All right, let's play this game without the answers." It sounds insane, right? Who would willingly do that? You would, because you understood that growth only happens when the stakes are real and the map is hidden. Before you came here, you were not confused. You were pure clarity, pure consciousness, standing in a realm where time didn't exist and possibilities stretched out like an infinite web. From that higher vantage point, you saw this lifetime like a storybook, each chapter already written. You saw every possible challenge you could face, every lesson you could choose. And in that sacred moment, your soul said yes. Yes to this exact body. Yes to these exact people. Yes, even to the pain you swore you didn't deserve. You didn't choose because you love suffering. You chose because you knew that certain experiences would crack you open, force you to expand, awaken parts of you that would stay dormant if life were always easy. But here's where it gets tricky. The forgetting wasn't a mistake. It was part of the design. If you remembered everything the moment you arrived, there would be no point to the game. Imagine playing chess while seeing all the moves ahead. Boring. Growth requires mystery. It requires stumbling, questioning, failing, and finally realizing that you hold the key you've been searching for all along. So you forgot, and then you were born. And now here you are, looking around and thinking, what the hell happened to me? Maybe you felt it. The deja vu that comes out of nowhere. The strange pull towards certain people, certain places, certain ideas. Maybe you've wondered why the same patterns keep showing up in your life like reruns of a bad TV show. The toxic relationship that looks suspiciously like the last one. The financial struggles that repeat like clockwork. The inner battles that never seem to end. It's not random. It's your soul saying, hey, remember? You signed up to heal this. Every repeating challenge is a post-it note from your higher self. The question is whether you'll read the message or just keep walking in circles. Here's the good news. You don't have to hit rock bottom to finally wake up. Somewhere along the way, people started glorifying failure like it's a rite of passage. You've probably heard it. You have to fall apart before you can rise. It sounds poetic, but it's terrible advice. That's like skipping the parachute in skydiving just so you can say you learned something on the way down. Pain will teach you, yes, but awareness will save you. You can wake up before the crash, before the mess, before you break everything you worked so hard to build. The fact that you're even watching this right now proves that part of you is ready to remember. The problem is that modern life makes remembering incredibly difficult. We live surrounded by noise, notifications buzzing, expectations shouting, fears echoing louder than intuition. Your soul speaks in whispers, but you're standing next to a jet engine. No wonder it feels impossible to hear it. This moment is your pause button. For the next few minutes, nothing matters except this, you and the truth that's been hiding in plain sight. As you listen, I want you to imagine the static fading, the outside world going quiet. Underneath all the noise, there's a frequency that has always been there, waiting for you to tune in. That frequency is you, the real you, the one that existed before you had a name, before you had a story. If you've been feeling lost, here's what you need to know. Your life isn't random. It's not a cosmic accident. There's a design beneath the chaos, and you were the one who helped design it. Your soul has been sending you signals your whole life. In the next part of this journey, we'll decode those signals together, so you can finally remember what you came here to do. Not by hitting rock bottom, not by burning everything to the ground, but by opening your eyes before the fall, because the whispers have always been there. You just need to remember how to listen. You've probably heard people say, everything happens for a reason. It's the kind of phrase people toss around at weddings and funerals when they don't know what else to say. But here's the twist. It's true, not in the way most people think though. Your soul isn't some cosmic event planner who schedules disasters just to see how you'll react. It's more like an architect who left hidden clues in the blueprint of your life, waiting for you to notice them. These clues are everywhere, but because you've been conditioned to look outward for answers, you miss them every single day. Let's talk about those signals. Because once you know what to look for, it's like turning on the lights in a dark room. Suddenly, the chaos starts to make sense. The first signal is repeating patterns. Life has a funny way of circling back to the same lessons, like a teacher who keeps giving you the same test until you finally study. That toxic relationship you swore you'd never repeat. That job that drains your soul but somehow keeps showing up in different forms. These aren't coincidences. They're cosmic nudges saying, you didn't heal this yet. Let's try again. I know it's tempting to blame bad luck or other people, but here's the uncomfortable truth. The common denominator in every repeating pattern is you. And before you roll your eyes, take this as empowerment, not guilt. Because if you're the common thread, you also hold the power to rewrite the pattern. The second signal is unexplained pull or resistance. Ever met someone and felt an instant connection or instant repulsion without any logical reason? That's your soul recognizing a contract. It's like bumping into an old friend from another lifetime, even if your conscious mind has no idea why your stomach just did a backflip. The same goes for places. Maybe there's a city you've never been to, but it feels like home the moment you arrive, or a place you visit and instantly want to run from, as if your cells remember something your mind forgot. These pulls and resistances are breadcrumbs leading you back to yourself. Most people ignore them, dismissing them as random emotions, but your soul doesn't do random. Everything is data. Everything is information. The question is whether you'll stop long enough to decode it. The third signal is the whisper of intuition. And yes, I can already hear some of you groaning. Intuition? Seriously? That woo-woo stuff my yoga teacher talks about? But here's the science behind the spirituality. Your brain processes millions of bits of data every second. Most of it never reaches your conscious mind. Intuition is simply your nervous system delivering a summary report before your rational brain catches up. It's not magic. It's biology, with a touch of the divine. The problem is intuition whispers while fear screams. Your soul says, turn left. Your fear yells, turn back now or you'll die alone and broke. Guess which voice most people listen to? The loud one, of course. That's why the world is full of people running in circles, mistaking fear for truth. Here's where my gentle sarcasm comes in. We humans are the only species that can ignore our built-in guidance system while simultaneously complaining that life has no map. A bird doesn't argue with migration. A tree doesn't resist growing toward the sun. But humans will sit in therapy for 10 years debating whether our gut feeling was valid. So how do you actually hear the whispers beneath the noise? You create space. Silence isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. If you don't give your soul quiet moments, it has no way to get through. Meditation, journaling, walking in nature. These aren't spiritual cliches. They're tools for tuning your inner frequency. And when you tune in, you start to see the patterns, feel the pulls, and hear the whispers. Life stops feeling like a series of random accidents and starts to look like a masterpiece in progress. Here's the part no one likes to admit. Ignoring these signals has consequences. The universe starts gently, a soft nudge, a mild discomfort, a small challenge. If you ignore it, the signals get louder. A breakup, a job loss, a health scare. And if you still refuse to listen, well, let's just say life has a way of flipping the table when you miss the earlier clues. You don't need to wait for the explosion. You don't need to hit rock bottom to wake up. That's the old story, the heroic tragedy people romanticize because they didn't know better. You can choose a new story, one where awareness is the awakening, not destruction. As you sit with these signals, notice what's resonating right now. Which patterns feel uncomfortably familiar? Who are the people you feel inexplicably drawn to or repelled by? When has your intuition whispered something you didn't want to hear? These questions are not just for reflection. They're the keys to remembering why you came here. Your soul didn't come to punish you. It came to express itself through you, and every signal is a breadcrumb leading you home. In the final part of this journey, we'll explore how to integrate these insights into real action. Because remembering is powerful, but living what you remember, that's where the magic happens. You didn't come here just to wake up. You came here to transform. And now, you're ready to step into the life your soul chose long before you were born. Now that you've begun to see the signals, the real question is, what do you do with them? Because awareness without action is like finding a treasure map and then hanging it on the wall like decoration. It looks inspiring, but it won't get you anywhere. Here's where most people get stuck. They have a breakthrough moment. They connect the dots. They realize why certain patterns keep repeating. Maybe they even cry a little. It feels profound. It feels like they've finally cracked the code of life. But then Monday morning shows up. The same job, the same arguments, the same fears. And slowly, the epiphany fades until it's just another memory of a time they almost changed. Your soul didn't come here for almost. It came here for transformation. The first step is integration. It's easy to feel connected when you're watching a video like this, when the world feels quiet and everything makes sense for a moment. The real challenge is carrying that awareness into the noise of daily life. Integration means practicing what you remembered when it would be easier to forget again. It's choosing to pause before reacting. It's noticing when fear is screaming louder than intuition, and then choosing the whisper anyway. Think of it like learning to walk again. At first it feels awkward. You stumble. People might not understand what you're doing. Some will even try to pull you back into the old patterns because your growth threatens their comfort. But every time you choose alignment over autopilot, you strengthen the connection between your soul and your actions. And eventually, walking this new path becomes as natural as breathing. The second step is courageous action. Let's be honest, remembering your soul's mission can be inconvenient. It often asks you to do things that are uncomfortable, even terrifying. Leave the relationship that's slowly draining your spirit. Quit the job that pays the bills but kills your creativity. Speak the truth you've been swallowing for years. Most people wait for certainty before they act. But here's the paradox. Certainty doesn't come first. Action does. Clarity is born from movement, not contemplation. You don't wait for the fear to disappear. You move with the fear still buzzing in your chest. That's what makes it powerful. Your soul didn't sign up for a life of playing it safe. It signed up for expansion. And expansion always feels like stretching, uncomfortable, messy, alive. The third step is service, and this one surprises a lot of people. We tend to think our soul's mission is only about us, our happiness, our healing, our success. But the deeper truth is that your mission always intersects with others. You came here to contribute something to the collective. It doesn't have to be dramatic or world famous. It could be as simple as raising a child with love, creating art that moves one person to tears, or being the friend who helps someone else remember their own light. When you live in service, you create ripples that stretch far beyond what you can see. And those ripples return to you in ways that defy logic. Life begins to flow in synchronicities and opportunities you couldn't have planned. It feels like magic, but really, it's just alignment. Let's be clear though, this path isn't about perfection. You will forget again. You will fall back into old patterns sometimes. You will doubt yourself, maybe even curse this whole soul mission thing on bad days. That's okay. Forgetting is part of the rhythm. The key is how quickly you remember again. Each time you come back to yourself, the gap between forgetting and remembering gets smaller, and slowly, your life stops being a series of random events and becomes a living masterpiece. Not because it's flawless, but because it's fully yours. So here's my invitation to you. Right now, in this moment, make a decision. Not a vague wish, not a half-hearted someday, but a real, grounded choice to start living what you've remembered today. Maybe that means having one honest conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it means sitting in silence for 10 minutes to hear your own soul more clearly. Maybe it's as simple as subscribing to this channel so you stay connected to a space that reminds you who you are when the world tries to make you forget. Whatever it is, let it be a step toward alignment. Your soul has been waiting for this moment since before you were born. And whether you believe in past lives, divine contracts, or just the mystery of existence, the fact that you're here listening to this isn't an accident. It's a signal, one more breadcrumb on your path home. You don't need to keep crashing into walls. You don't need to keep falling into the same holes. You can wake up before the impact. You can choose awareness over destruction, clarity over chaos. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. You stop feeling like a victim of life and start feeling like a co-creator of it. The patterns lose their power. The whispers get louder. The mission you came here to live stops being a mystery and starts being your everyday reality. This is the journey of remembering. This is the work of a lifetime. And it begins and begins again, right here, right now, with you. So breathe deeply. Feel that quiet, steady pulse inside you. That's your soul, reminding you that you are more than your past, more than your pain, more than the story you've been told. You are the author, the artist, the architect, and it's time to build the life you came here to create.